My name is Amanda, and on behalf of the Tampa-Hillsborough County Public Library, I am happy to introduce our featured speakers for tonight. They are here as special guests of the 40th Annual Tampa-Hillsborough County Storytelling Festival. So let me introduce, this evening we have with us Gladys Varga. Gladys was born with the gift of gab, so she is a perfect fit as a storyteller. She has been involved with the Tampa-Hillsborough County Storytelling Festival for over 25 years. Tonight, Gladys will be doing a story for us, which is The Three Silly Wishes. Also with us, we have Katie Adams. Katie is a well-known storyteller in the Tampa-Hillsborough County area, who performs and teaches through her company, Make Believe Theater. You will be seeing Katie through Make Believe Theater later this summer as one of our performers, and she has been with the Storytelling Festival since 1986. And we also have Lorian Mariachi, who is one of our Storytelling Festival VIPs. She has been involved with the Storytelling Festival one way or another since the age of 9. So she has a lot of great information to share with us tonight. I'm going to go ahead and Lorian, Gladys, and Katie are going to turn off their cameras right now, but don't worry, they will be back to share a lot of great stuff throughout the rest of the broadcast. So let me share with you some information. I'm going to go ahead and take my camera off as well as we get into the program. And I do want to let you know what is our program all about tonight. This is about the 40th Annual Tampa-Hillsborough County Storytelling Festival. It is our 40th annual festival and our first online one. So if you've participated in past years being online, it's going to run a little differently than it has in the past, but there's still plenty of opportunities to view great storytellers plying their trade, to learn about storytelling, and to get the opportunity to become a storyteller yourself. The festival kicks off tonight, June 3rd, and through many live interactive experiences, it is going to be running through August 5th. So where can you find out more information about what these experiences are? The most important thing, if you take anything away from tonight, that is to remember the web address hcplc.org/storytellingfestival. And once again, that is hcplc.org/storytellingfestival. This is where you can find all of the how-to information. So if you want to find out information about participating, you will find instructional videos. We have cultivated book lists of great stories that you could use for storytelling. And we have so many more resources that are going to help you become a storyteller. Definitely check out our website. As a reminder, the Storytelling Festival is open to students ages 6 to 18 that are invited to participate. One big caveat this year is they are going to do their stories via video submission. So at that website, you are also going to find information about the best practices to record and submit your video for the Storytelling Festival. So what else is going to be included? There's going to be many, many performances by professional storytellers. More importantly, we are going to have storytellers helping teach the art and the trade of storytelling to give you tips and practices. So some of that's also going to be through live interactive sessions. And like I said, there's going to be the opportunity to submit your own storytelling video. We are going to be answering questions at the end of the session, but please feel free anytime throughout the program. If you do have any questions that arise, please put those in the questions section and we will answer those. We will be answering those at the end. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and actually invite Gladys to come back on camera and to share with us. We're going to kick off with that story, which is Three Silly Wishes. So we'll go ahead and invite Gladys to come back on.
Thank you very much, Amanda. Three Silly Wishes. Kate and Caleb had had a hard time ever since Caleb had lost his job when the town lumberyard closed. Now he did odd jobs about town. He'd be home soon, hungry and tired, and how his wife Kate hated to give him only vegetable soup and bread again. She went to look in the garden to see what was ripe and ready to harvest, and there she found a wonderful thing. It was a large, beautiful portobello mushroom. Now, portobello mushrooms are the steak of the vegetable world. Oh, what a wonderful dinner this would make for us, she thought to herself. She bent down to pick the mushroom when she heard a small voice. Stop! She peered underneath the umbrella of the mushroom, and there stood a wee tiny fairy woman. She had a look of anger in her eyes. You were about to pick that mushroom, weren't you? Well, yeah, Kate said, we have so little. We're so hungry. It would make a delicious dinner for us. Indeed, said the fairy. Dinner, scoffed the fairy. Why don't you know that mushrooms are shelter for we fairy folk during the dew? If it might be a solution, if you will leave this mushroom until tomorrow, I will grant you 3 wishes. What kind of wishes? Kate said suspiciously. Any kind, said the fairy. You can wish for food, clothing, money, a house, even children. Certainly you can think of 3 wishes. I can think of a million wishes, Kate said. May I consult my husband? Yes, yes, yes. Just don't pick the mushroom until tomorrow. Kate hurried into the house, all thoughts of dinner gone from her mind. When Caleb came home a short time later, she told him about her meeting with the fairy woman. Honestly, Kate, Caleb said, what kind of nonsense is this? I come home and there's nothing for me to eat? Well, how can I think about dinner when we have such a special opportunity? Kate said. Well, you could have thought about our empty bellies. I'm starving. I wish we had a great big fat sausage right now. The words were barely out of Caleb's mouth when a sausage appeared on the table. Oh, Caleb, you've wasted our first wish. Well, perhaps you have a better idea, Caleb said. Indeed, I do, Kate said. I wish that sausage was on your nose. Well, immediately the sausage jumped off the table and poof, landed on Caleb's nose. Now what have you done? Caleb said. We have to get rid of this sausage. So Kate and Caleb tugged and pulled and tugged and pulled, but the sausage wouldn't budge. Kate even tried to cut the sausage, but it just grew right back again. Maybe you'll get accustomed to it, as she said. Accustomed to it, said Caleb. I'll be the laughing stock of the entire town. Well, if we wish for enough money, it won't make a difference. Well, it might not make a difference to you, but it'll make a difference to me. You're not the one with a sausage stuck on your nose. We must use the final wish to get rid of the sausage. Oh, but Caleb, our third wish, we must. Very well, Kate said. I wish the sausage was gone. And immediately, poof, the sausage disappeared as quickly as it had appeared. Kate and Caleb sat in silence for a few moments, and then Kate rose and began to slice the bread. But while she did that, she did start to think about how she was going to fix that portobello mushroom for dinner the next day. And that is the story of 3 Silly Wishes. I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you, Gladys. That was a great example. Well, that was a great story and a great example of storytelling. So I'm sure we will have some questions about that later. Let's go ahead and invite Katie back on camera to tell us a little bit more about what storytelling is.
So that was a great example of storytelling. Thank you, Gladys Varga. Storytelling is dramatic public speaking that allows you to creatively tell a story and then perform it for an audience. Gladys showed us many features of good storytelling. The first thing is Her story is a folk tale that comes from a book. You can find folk tales at your library in the 398.2 section. So she found it in a book, but she's not reading the story. Storytelling is not story reading, it's a performance, a telling of the story. So Gladys memorized that story, and she's also telling it in her own words. She's got a lot of characteristics that make a good performance. One of the things is that you can see the different characters in her story. You can see the woman and hear her voice a certain way. You can see her husband, and you can see the little fairy. She has a different voice too. So storytellers take on the characters and they use their voice to show those characters. Gladys also had some great movement and action in her story. Remember, she showed us the mushroom. She showed us the sausage on the nose. She had great action in her story. Also, she had some sound effects, like when the magic happens, boom. Remember that? Those are all parts of the fun of storytelling. She also used great vocal technique. You could hear the words clearly. She had good diction, and she was projecting so that she was loud enough for everybody to hear her. So all of these make up good stories. And in our storytelling, we also ask that our stories are not longer than 10 minutes. You want to keep it less than 10 minutes. So parents, would you like your child to learn storytelling to increase their self-confidence, boost their reading, listening, creativity, and public speaking skills? Well, join us this summer, and you can follow along with our live sessions like Amanda was talking about, but we also do have video that you can go to at any time and watch the video and help coach your child with the storytelling. So we hope you'll get involved with that. It's a great family activity. The next session that we have coming up is going to be on June 11th. So we're going to have more about storytelling, and you'll also have a chance to interact with us, and we can do some live coaching with you. So I hope that you guys are going to join us this summer for some great storytelling. We can't wait to see those stories.
Thank you, Katie. Well, you had so much good information there. Great Dewey Decimal shout out, by the way. If you are visiting your local library, 398.2 is where you're going to find some of our favorite fairy tales. And you can find a cultivated book list on that website, hcplc.org/storytelling festival. Let's go ahead. Actually, let's get some storytelling done right now. Let's invite Lorian back on camera to do a storytelling activity with us.
Hello. I hope that everybody can see me and hear me. I was having some technical difficulties in our practice, so if that happens, Amanda and Katie will save us. So hopefully we'll make it through. So Gladys showed you an excellent example of storytelling with one of my favorite stories, and I love it when Gladys tells that story. And then Katie pointed out the things that Gladys did that were excellent storytelling. And now it's your chance to stand up. So everybody stand up, leave your chairs to the side. Parents too, it's really important that you get a chance to see what the kids are going to do. And what we're going to do is we're going to practice storytelling, because I'm going to prove to you that even though Gladys did such a great job and Katie gave us such a great explanation, and you have all of these story resources coming to you, you already have what you need to be a storyteller. Now, we learn from books, so the story that we're going to do together in your storytelling experience is called The Three Little Pigs. And hopefully most of you already know this story. And then like Katie was saying, we pick it from a book, but we don't read it. So there's only a few things we need to know about the story. So we need to know who the characters are. And the characters are Mama Pig, the three little pigs, and the big bad wolf. Now, like Katie told us and Gladys showed us, in storytelling, we don't just say, oh, there were three little pigs. We use our bodies and our voices to bring our characters to life. So we're going to practice that part really quickly first. So we're going to start with the big bad wolf. We're storytellers. We don't say big bad wolf. We say big. So everybody reach your hands, big. We say bad. Everybody make muscles, bad. And then we say wolf, okay? So everybody do this with me. We've got the big, bad wolf. And if we've got a big, bad wolf, he can't have my normal teacher, mother, high-pitched voice. He needs his own voice. We're gonna give him a big, loud, deep voice. So we're going to have the big, bad wolf. And then we've got 3 little pigs. And we're not going to differentiate between the 3 little pigs. We're going to give them all high-pitched, squeaky voices, and they're going to go like this. Not by the hair on my chinny chin chin. So we have our characters, we have our movements that are going to go with our characters, and now we just need 2 more things. So 1, the key phrases. So what does the big bad wolf say? He says, so the big bad wolf says, little pig, let me in. And the pigs all go, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. So every time a big bad wolf says that, all of you, even Amanda and Matthew if you want, are all going to say, little pig, let me in. And then you're going to lean back and go, not by the hairs of my chinny chin chin. So here we go. We're going to talk about the things and what happens in order. So first there's Mama Pig, and she tells the 3 little pigs to go make their own way in the world, but to be careful and to watch out for the big bad wolf. And so the 3 little pigs go out into the world, and the first person they come across is someone selling, hope you guys know, straw. So the first little pig builds his house out of straw. So everybody build a straw house. Straw is, it's kind of wispy like grass. So you got to get like kind of handfuls of it and put the handfuls together to build your house. So we've got a nice straw house built up here. I hope everybody built a straw house with me. And then what happens next is the second little pig comes across a guy selling sticks. So we can pick these up one at a time, right? Because we've got our long, strong sticks here. So we've got sticks. So everybody build your stick house. Everybody's building a stick house with me, even parents. Okay, so here we go. We've got our stick house built. And now the third little pig, he builds his house out of, I can't hear anybody, but I hope everybody said bricks. So we're going to take a brick. We've got our trowel, we've got our mortar. So we're going to mortar and we're going to put our bricks. We're going to get our bricks there, and then more mortar, trowel on, get our bricks in. And now we've built our brick house, right? So we've got our brick house. And then what happens? Up, enter the big bad wolf, right? And he goes to the first pig's house, and I hope everybody says this with me. He says, little pig, let me in. Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. What does the wolf say next? He says, then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down. And that's just what he did. The straw house blew down, and that little pig ran wee, 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 as fast as he could all the way home to his brother pig's house in the stick house that we built. So there are the 2 pigs in the stick house, and who comes? You've got it. Say it with me. The big bad wolf. And he walks right to that door and he says, little pig, let me in. Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in. And he did. And the 2 little pigs went wee, 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 all the way home to their brother's house in the brick house. And they went in there, and there they were when who should come along? Say it with me. The big, I hope you've got your arms going like this, bad. And now it's time to turn wolf. And what did that big bad wolf say? Let's all together. Little pig, let me in. Not by the hairs of our chinny chin chins. Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in. And this time the wolf huffed and he puffed and he blew with all of his might. But did he blow the brick house down? No, he couldn't, because it was made out of bricks. We did a much better job on that one than we did on the straw and the sticks. And so the wolf thought he was big and bad. He wasn't giving up that quickly. And he thought, and he decided that he would climb down the chimney and get the pigs that way. But our pigs were pretty smart, especially that brother who built the brick house. And so what they did was they got a bunch of sticks. So get your sticks, lay them out for your fire, and set the sticks on fire so you've got a big fire going. Now get a big pot full of water, put it down on your fire, and wait for the fire to get the water bubbling. And all of that heat and steam and smoke is going to go up the chimney where our big bad wolf had started to come down. And when he feels all that heat and smoke and steam on his poor tender tail, oh, he jumps up and runs as fast as he can to get away from the three little pigs. And now the three little pigs, of course, everybody say it with me, they lived happily ever after. And I hope that you all did it with me so that you had your own storytelling experience.
Thank you, Lori. And actually, speaking of the story of the three little pigs, I'm going to share our book shout out for tonight, which is The True Story of the Three Little Pigs. This is a children's book by author John Cheska. You can find this in our book list on the website, but this is one of my favorite versions of the story of the Three Little Pigs to read and also to tell. So if you guys are looking for a great book that might get you interested in storytelling, this is also a good example of there are many versions of some of our favorite stories. So this is not the first, the only, or even the second and only version of the Three Little Pigs. There are many ones out there to choose from. You can find this in our library at hcplc.org/books, and you can also find it as an online copy through our digital book services, Overdrive. So be sure to check that out. You can find it in our catalog at hcplc.org/books. Let's go ahead and invite Katie and Gladys back on camera so we can take some questions from the audience. So I'm going to go ahead and take down that screen and let's get into some of our audience questions. Oh, okay. And this is a reminder for everyone, if you are on a computer or a laptop, you probably on your control panel, you can see that there is a question section. You can type in those questions and we will go ahead and answer those. If you are on a phone or a tablet, there is a question mark icon. You can just go ahead and tap on that question mark and enter your questions that way. So it looks like we do have some questions that are coming in already. Okay, and our first question is, does the story that they use have to be from a book? Does it have to be from a book, or can it be a story that is not from a book?
It does have to be from a book. Part of the Storytelling Festival is celebrating literacy, which is why our partnership with the library is so awesome. So it absolutely does have to be something that was previously published that can be found in a library.
But you can put your own spin on it and your own way of telling it, so it's not word for word from the book necessarily. It comes from the images in your mind.
Very good. So there is creative license to make it your own performance based on the story. Oh, this is actually a very good question. Is the Storytelling Festival a competition?
Yeah, it's not a competition. We encourage everybody to participate and to really work on your stories, enjoy them, and try to come up to what we call festival quality. And normally, if it's a live festival, then the people who have festival quality are invited to tell at our culminating festival. So anybody who reaches that level of festival quality can participate and tell in the festival. So this year it's a little bit different. We're going to be taking the videos, but again, everybody who comes up to that festival quality is part of the festival. And even people in the past, even people who maybe didn't get invited to tell, were still invited to come to the festival and participate. So it's not a competition between us. It's just trying to achieve a certain level of being a really good storyteller.
Right. So anybody who comes to the sessions and does a video, you're already part of the Storytelling Festival. So it is just we may be able to select some of the submissions to show at our closing ceremony, but even if yours is not selected, it still can be deemed festival quality. So there are a lot of opportunities to be involved. And then Lorian, it looks like you have something to add.
Yeah, I just wanted to be really clear that in order to be featured at the festival or to have your videos published, they have to be festival quality. So it's not just everybody who does a story. It's you have to practice. You have to work on the things from these workshops and the videos. So it is an honor to be featured. Not everybody who tries can be featured, but everybody who tries, who can reach that level of quality, will be featured. So in a competition, only one person can be first place, or only the top 5 people. Here, if we have 500 festival quality storytellers, we will feature 500 storytellers. But if it's not festival quality, then it will not be featured, so that we can honor the people who've brought their stories up to that level. So it is, again, to use the word, it is an honor to be selected for the festival, but there's not a limit. Everyone who can perform at that level will be featured.
Okay, so we have plenty of other questions coming in. So I think we touched on this a little bit. Let's revisit. Is there a minimum and maximum time that the stories have to be? What is the minimum and maximum storytelling range?
Well, it can't be more than 10 minutes. It's got to be, you can go up to 10 minutes, but you want, so anywhere, 10 minutes or less. And in order to just have a story, it's going to have to be, at least 30 seconds or more, a minute, 2 minutes. So you want to, in order to tell a story, it's going to take a little bit of time. So between a couple of minutes and 10 minutes, right in that range. Many
Wonderful.
stories that the children are telling are around 5 minutes.
So there's a good of the median. So not more than 10, and probably however long it takes to tell a full story with a beginning, a middle, and an end. So this is a good question. Is there going to be a party? Well, there's not going to be an in-person event, but there will be a closing festival where we celebrate participation on August 5th. You can find that. You can find registration for all of our events. I know we've put it in the chat section. We're going to see it again in the PowerPoint. That's at hcplc.org/storytelling festival. You can find registration for all these upcoming events we are talking about. So there is going to be a closing. There's going to be a celebration of participation at the end. So I think it'll have a party-like atmosphere. It will be online, though, as all the events will this summer. This is a very good question for all 3 of you. And I think they're asking, and I think in a very nice way, why does someone want to become a storyteller, and where can it be used? So let's hear about your experiences with using storytelling.
I'll go first. I fell in love with storytelling because I loved words and images, and it just felt so right. It really did. It felt right for me. And I went on to, I started as a children's librarian, and that's where I first learned how to tell stories. And then I went on to have a 25-year business of telling stories at rec centers, libraries, summer camps, schools. I taught workshops, all kinds of different things. So it can also be a profession, not just something you do for fun.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Katie.
It is fun, though. One of the things to me is that it is such a fun way to do public speaking, because you get to have action in it. You get to, be dramatic and have characters. I particularly like the movement. I come from theater and doing some mime, and then when I found storytelling, I just loved the combination of the arts that are in storytelling. And I also like the feeling of sharing and seeing that my audience sees the story and is going along with me when I'm telling it. I love that community feeling that I have with storytelling.
I would like to speak to things beyond storytelling and the arts. I obviously love storytelling and the arts, and I'm a full proponent of it. But storytelling has also helped me in many other ways, including in technical ways. And I want to talk a bit about how it's working its way into science and medicine as well. So at its core, storytelling is the art of conveying information from a speaker. We call ourselves storytellers, but we are speakers to an audience, which is whoever is reading or viewing or hearing your work. And so storytelling has helped me to do many varied things. So for instance, I got to go to Oxford University on a very competitive scholarship. And the way that I had to do it was I had to go through a panel. I had to go through a committee interview, which was 15 people who held doctoral degrees who I'd never met before. And so being able to stand in front of 15 strangers and convey information from speaker to audience was pure storytelling experience. I thank storytelling completely for my ability to go study at Oxford. I've stuck mostly in literature, but I've also done media. And again, and I'm even a media professor at the University of Tampa. And one of the things that we're trying to talk about is the media and the message, is going from speaker to receiver and all of the fancy technical stuff. But then I also wanted to speak really quickly about like Matthew Huberman and my friend Erin Talava. So Matthew Huberman is one of the top neuroscientists in the world, and he works out of, I believe, Stanford. And then, and he's not the only one. There are several other Stanford scientists who are on this new movement where they're saying that science really isn't, I don't want to say worth anything, but it's really important for the value of science to be able to communicate your findings to normal people so that they can understand. And he does an hour or two of podcasts fairly regularly because he feels so passionate about the importance of conveying scientific findings in neuroscience to the audience of the general public. And my friend Erin Kalava is one of the top anesthesiologists in the country and possibly even in the world. And he has taken to also producing media to help other anesthesiologists and to help people who might need anesthesia for different reasons, because it's not just for surgery, to understand. So even scientists and doctors are starting to understand the importance of being able to convey information. So yes, it's an art. Yes, it's a lot of fun. Yes, I love stories, but it also has really important applications for career, whether that career is a professional artist, performing artist, or an educator, or a publisher in storytelling, or whether it is science or math or technology or medicine.
Wonderful. I think maybe we'll find our next professional storyteller, but even if not, there's so many transferable skills that are going to help you with communication and public speaking, which come up a lot in school and careers and just in life, communication. So we do have a question, where can you find the information? I'm going to go ahead and pull up just so everybody can see it. You can see on our screen here, just once again, I want everybody to be able to see hcplc.org/storytelling festival. I know we're getting a little short on time, but I do want to squeeze in a few more questions if we can, ladies. The first one is, what is the assessment of festival quality based on, or is it, and does it change for the age of the participant?
If I could just take that one really quickly, we have a whole video that's already up through those links that you've provided. Thank you so much, Amanda. So there's a whole video about that, but basically we're looking at, and it's for all ages. It's not differentiated by age. So it's just looking at, do you know the story? Are you comfortable when you're telling it? Can we hear it? And then anything of yourself that you can bring to the story through voice and movement. But the main things are, do you know it? Can we hear it? And do you feel comfortable telling it? And if you've got those three down, you can probably get up to festival quality at any age.
There is a lot of great resources available right now. I do want to circle back to some things. So just a reminder to people, it does have to be based on a book. You're actually not going to be holding the book, which is we've had questions about. You'll find out more about this in our upcoming storytelling sessions. You're not going to have to hold the book, so don't worry about that. And then the last thing is, yes, remember you can alter the story, so you can kind of take the basis there and make it your own kind of performance. Now, we are running a little short on time here, so I do want to get to this question, which I don't think we've seen. Does it have to be an individual effort, or can it be told by two people?
We've had tandem storytellers in the past, but for simplicity this year with video and everything else, it's probably best if it's an individual. But I don't know if you have our email address anywhere, but they can also contact us directly through tampastoryfest@gmail.com.
Oh, I was just going to say, we can put that in the chat section, and it is also on you can find a link on the website. So let's go ahead. We're going to take about 2 more questions. So our first question is, do you have to participate in every event to submit a video?
Yeah, you don't have to. Like maybe if you're going to take a little trip, you'll be away and you're going to miss one of the live events. Everything that you need to learn storytelling is in the videos, the story school. So you start at the first one and you can just go through those at your own pace. Could be late at night, early in the morning, and but you know, you can go through all of those and they will show you how to do storytelling.
Wonderful. So, you know, it's definitely encouraging to take advantage of these wonderful storytellers we have participating. But if you are not able to attend the live events, there are plenty of resources to help guide you through that process. Okay, it looks like we do have to close down for tonight. I'm going to ask one final question. This may be a hard one for our panel. What is your favorite story?
I like the story of The Lion and the Mouse by Aesop.
And you can tell that on one of the videos. Watch the videos.
Truthfully, it's very, very hard for me to pick one story that I like the best of all time, but perhaps it's a story about Aaron Kelly, and you can find the book by it's called The Dancing Skeleton. Cynthia D. Felice, I believe. So I think that has to be one of my favorites.
My favorite story to tell is Silly Jack, and that's because I saw Gladys tell it years ago, and I fell so in love with the story because of the way that she tells it, that I have created my own version of it in sort of like an homage to her and to that folktale. It's one of my all-time favorites to tell. There is no measuring favorite to read.
And you know that really is storytelling, because that's what it's about, is sharing our stories, and then people who hear them continue the stories. And that really is what Lorraine has done with what I did with Silly Jack. So thank you very much, Lorraine.
So, you know, that is what we've been saying. This is the 40th year of the festival. So it really is sharing beloved stories, sharing those treasured stories with one another and the next generation. So we do have to wrap up for tonight. I do want to remind everybody that the Storytelling Festival is one event of many great events we have going on this summer. If you do want to find the full calendar, including all Storytelling Festival events and other summer events through the library, you can go to htplc.org/summer. There is a lot of great info there, a lot of wonderful things going on. If you do have any questions about using the library, getting your library card or renewing your library card, perhaps, you can give us a call at 813-273-3652, or you can contact us online at htplc.org/contact. I know I've said this a lot of times during the program, but if you have a question that maybe comes up later, or there's something that you're still unsure about, there are so many resources on our website for the Storytelling Festival, and you can find that at htplc.org/storytelling festival. Now, that's not only going to have our resources, but it does have, Lorian, as you mentioned, the email address for the Storytelling Festival Committee. So if you have something that is not answered there, you can go ahead and send an email and get a response back with that information. So I want to say a special thank you to our 3 storytellers for joining us tonight, and I hope to see all of you at home at a future storytelling event. Okay. Have a good evening, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.